All right. This is a record collection. Book on record. These are the large ones. These are not the regular comic book size. These are the larger ones. So I wanted to cover some of these. And one thing I wanted to show first, though, was that now in the later years, they had gotten into placing the comic book with a tape. That is the original comic book and tape. It's a 6-part miniseries, auto theater series as they called it. This is number 4. It is still in the package. I do not have it. It's in a bag, and I've actually thought about just hanging it on the wall and actually hanging it like you would with the other, but I'm always afraid because this size fits it, even though it's one of the bigger bag kind of things. But I wish I could find the rest of these. Now, this is Smokey the Bear. Gene Autry does some work in this. Back in the saddle again. Again, it is in rough shape. And I want to say, I'm trying to remember. Put on my glasses here. And these are called reading glasses for those of you who may not experience blindness. No, it didn't really say a year with this, but I do find it to be funny that they actually have on the record it says non-breakable. But this is some of the stuff that's in there. Or they recommend. Billy wrote his name on it, but Now, this is Fang Face. It is one of those cartoons that I really loved as a kid. Sandman Mystery Theater Comics, Jim basically showed a Fang Face reading book. I hunted them down, bought the 2. There's only 2 in the reading series, and I bought this record. It actually has these stories on it. You can go in and listen to it on YouTube that I know of. So I found it to be just pretty neat that way. As you can see, there's Biff, Kim, Pugsy, Fangs. Fangs, which is Sherman Fangsworth, becomes Fangface. And if you look on side 1 is Mirage, or Freak Out in Funhouse. Ghosts of the High Sierra, The Stowaway is on side B, and Super Frog is on side B. Again, this is from the late 70s. I love the show. Now here we get our Merry Christmas Smurfs. I literally spent nothing on this. It was like $2.50. But if you look, the back, they do Smurfing bells. But they do Christmas tree, Christmas present, little drummer boy, the 12 days of Christmas, Santa Claus will come tonight, deck the halls, all the ones you think of as the norm. But they're also, these other ones are available in the Smurfs. So, again, if you're a Smurfing fan, you should have these. Now this is, when I was a kid, the original Mickey Mouse Club in black and white actually come on our TV. And of course everybody was in love with Annette. So it was back before Disney went woke, and they were truly about kids and experience and family. This comes out of Disneyland Records. And this is the original kind of cast and crew of that with this. And of course, we got Mickey, Donald, and a little bit of Goofy going on there. And if you look here, there's Spinning Marty, there's Annette, and then all the kids. I remember that little kid playing. And again, these would play at one time when I would come home from school. And this is all our song choices for A and B. So again, but later on, this group come out. Now this is more along the lines of the ones that eventually would come out. And this is our young lady from the Facts of Life that maybe she might be my age or a year older than me. She does the collection show that is on right now on MeTV or one of them, which is a pretty good show because it actually shows people's collections and stuff. But this is the group that I started to grow up with when I'd come home from school. This was going to be on. This is one of the shows eventually that was on along with all the stuff that I watched in the afternoon. And if we look, that's some of them in their little stuff. And again, side one, side two. And again, love the show. Really was again, I harped on it with my bigger books that I showed. It was an innocence. There was an innocence to it where you were showing kids stuff, educating them in the right way, entertaining them, and then that was good. Disney didn't want to corrupt you. Disney didn't want to show you the wrong things. Disney didn't want to be political or expose you to stuff, basically, that they didn't ask your parents whether you could or not. They didn't do that. Now, here's one I found a little bit back. This is Star Wars Christmas album, featuring the original cast of R2-D2 and Anthony Daniels as C-3PO. Christmas in the Stars. Now, if you remember the Star Wars Christmas special, you would hurt yourself laughing with, even though you loved it, it's a guilty pleasure because it was the only Star Wars we had. But you have R2-D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, right? I mean, you got Bells, 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 The Odds Against Christmas. Christmas in the Stars is actually a song. So again, this is pretty neat that way. And you got to figure we're at the 1980s, so we just did Empire Strikes Back. So they're still running on a high of Star Wars merchandise. Now this is a Power Records with Batman. As you can look, somebody wanted to give Catwoman a little Catwoman to let us know that's her name, and give her whiskers, and then give the Joker a beard. I have thought about trying to see how much I can get that ink out with a little, just sit there and dab it and let it slowly come out and see if I can bring it back to white. But again, this is the Batman one. It's the Scarecrow, Challenge of the Catwoman, Food of Death, and Stacked Cards. And that's our back. And again, most of them are on 33 and a half most of the time. If you remember the old days with your big 33s. So, this is another Power Records with Batman. This has got 4 exciting ones. And again, think most of these can be found on YouTube to listen to. If, like me, you don't have the space to bring in a record player and do those things, I have to take and play these up on TV, because there is people that's uploaded every one of them. But again, we got even Gorilla City is in this one. Beautiful shot there. Batmobile of that time period in the 70s, late 70s. Stalk the shadows with the Batman and the Teen Wonder Robin as 4 all-new mysteries unfold. Each action adventure is exclusively written and recorded for this album. So these, my friends, are stories that are not found in comic books. So they are, or at least not of this time anyway. Now, looks like Michael Dillinger. This was his original book and record one. Again, this is Batman Power Records. You have a combination of Gorilla City and the Scarecrow in Mystery of the Scarecrow Corpse. It's not actually Scarecrow, because I do remember. And if you look, yes, these do have beautiful work. And then you can see a little bit of Star Trek, Superman. So it kind of gives you a little bit of layout of some of the other stuff. And again, our beautiful record. And then this gives you a list of some of the other ones. So, and back, this is our 2 stories. And that is the Gorilla City one. And this is the Scarecrow. And this actually has a person who seems to be Sherlock Holmes. So this is our kind of a crossover with Batman and Sherlock Holmes, which is actually kind of neat. Now here is Star Trek. This is 4 exciting all new action adventure stories. This is another Power Records one. Look at that. 1975. That is some beautiful work on the back of that cover, though. Now, the reason I like these so much is I'm really a traditional Star Trek fan, even though by 87 I started watching The Next Generation. I'd watched these for a long period of time, and then again the movie, and I think the second movie was out somewhere near after this other appeared, but I also watched the cartoon of Star Trek, so it kind of gave me a look at Star Trek beyond the original 3 years of episodes, and then as well as stuff like this. I mean, now this one's rough, but it is mine. It is a Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man. Volume 2 is what it says. I have to look, see if I can find out what Volume 1 is. And again, this is another Power Records. And Against the Invasion of the Dragon Men. Again, I think I pulled this one up online and listened to it at one time. And if you look, just a simplistic cartoon about the invasion of the Dragon Men on the back, with them actually doing everything. It's like it's giving you a mini comic book at the same time as letting you read through everything. And again, most of these, if I see them, I pick them up because I don't find them that much. Now this is Superman, 3 New Adventures, The Best Cop in the World, Tomorrow, The World, and Mxyzptlk Up, Menace. And then beautiful. Looks very Neal Adams is all I'm going to say. And this was 1975, so it might be. All right, so I'm going to leave you there. And that is the records. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Power records, as well as some of the others. And again, I hope that you enjoyed that. It is a beautiful walk for me down memory lane. The next series I will show will be the smaller ones, and we'll get into that. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.